So I'm really thrilled to bring him out here. Are you ready, Marcus? Let's do it. Bring him out here. Everybody give a big round of applause for Marcus.
After podcast.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Good morning. Well, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Can we get one more round of applause for our awesome host, Daniel, everyone who just presented. So I wanted to go into, I'm not going to be with you guys long. I'm not going to take up your time very long. I'm not going to be up here much longer. But I want to tell you guys a story. And it's called, What Are You Afraid Of? So is it okay if I tell you guys a story? Is that cool? Is that okay? So this story is my story. Nobody knows this. Nobody knows this but me and the few closest people, Patience and my family. But it's important today because Patience beats me up about it all the time. And so we're going to talk about fear and why it is rampant in our lives. So there's this young man, energetic, spry, ready to take on the world. I'm from the Caribbean. Most people don't know that about me, but I am from a small island in the Caribbean. I grew up in a home of 12 siblings, and I am the middle child, but I was the first man to leave the household. And so I have older siblings, I have younger siblings, but I'm the first, you don't let me over there, I'm the first to leave my household and to make it on my own. And so here you have a young man who's ready to tackle the world and who's enthused and energized to really take this world by storm. And so I join the Navy, right? I leave home and I leave the nest, right? That's every parent's dream, is to leave the nest and fly. And you can't see up there, but that's my rank on top of my hat. And so in 4 years, I was at E5. In 4 years, I had jumped 5 ranks. Which is not heard of, and it's not done. And the goal was to just take the world by storm. Yes. The most powerful thing, this young man, my father, was my hero. I wrote it down earlier in my notes. My father is the most impactful man I've ever seen. He worked so hard. He raised all 12 of his kids, including me. He worked 3 jobs, and I never saw him. And so because he grinded, because he worked so hard, I couldn't do anything less but strive to be the best that I could. When I left for boot camp, my father told me that you were the one child I put my best into. And he didn't give me money, he didn't give me wealth, he didn't give me legacy, but he gave me his best. And he gave me work ethic, and he gave me the ability to critically think through anything. And so I went, joined the Navy, fought hard, and achieved E5 in 4 years. But then life happened, right? Disaster strikes, go through divorce, go through credit card debt, financial debt, troubles. Life hits me, Murphy's Law hits me. And so all these things happened to me, and I begin to get down on myself. I get to beat down on myself. Life happens to me. I'd never been evicted before. Bought my first house, losing my first house, right? Got my first car, losing my first car. And so life happened to me unexpectedly, and I'm being knocked down. Can y'all raise your hands? Have you ever been afraid? Raise your hands if you've ever been afraid and you just didn't know what to do. We're gonna keep going. That's not the end of it. Bills are piling up. Bills are piling up, they're adding up, and they're hitting you. I got afraid to check the mail. You ever been there? Blink. You don't have to snitch. Blink if you ever been there. Bills are piling up. They're past due, and you don't know where the money was coming from. On top of that, I had got kicked out of the military. And so now I have to replace my income. I have no job, no income, no revenue, no money, and bills are piling up. You ever had a checking account become a black hole where you're literally putting money in there because you don't know when the next bill is going to come through, the next auto draft, the next expense? Again, it gets better. Cars declining, payments declining. Mortgage is declining. Everything is declining. Notices on the door. I became afraid. And it's, what does he say in the Bible? Walking by faith, not by sight. Can I tell y'all, I was walking by sight. My reality, fear became my reality. Everything I experienced, I was overwhelming. So I did the one thing, after my father had told me how proud he was of me, I did the one thing that I fought for an entire year not to do. I called home. I said, Dad, I'm overwhelmed. I have no idea what I'm doing anymore. Can I come home? So he flew from the Caribbean. He came up. He came and saw me. My dad, the man I had held dear in my life, came up to be with his son that he watched grow up. And I said, Dad, I don't know what to do. I'm scared. I'm overwhelmed. I got all these bills. So that week, my dad flew up, spent time with me, nurtured me, poured into me. No money, but just encouragement. And I said, Dad, can I come home? I don't know what to do. I'm scared. I don't know what to do. Can I come home? And I'll never forget these words. By the way, this is the first time I had smiled in a year of fighting and fighting and fighting. He said, son, you're always welcome to come home, but there is nothing here for you. If you can hold on and make it, then do it. And to some that may be hard, but I knew what that meant. Going home was death for me. If I went home, I would be going home to nothing. There's no job. It's an island. You could drive my entire island in a couple hours. So this is his words. And as he's leaving, we're crying at the airport, everything. He left me there by myself. But I stayed in the fight. I kept going. I didn't give up. I went from dead-end job to dead-end job, interview to interview, feeling hopeless for another 6 months. And then one day, after all the fighting, I'm exhausted, and just something in me, something lit up. Said, check your bank account. This deposit hit my bank account. Because I was military, the military owed me for disability. And I had filed my claim a year and a half ago. It took them a year and a half to pay me the compensation they owed me. I got back paid from the time I got out to a year and a half of fighting all the money they had owed me since. This picture is real, and I'll never forget it. And I say to you that everything you're facing, everything you're going through, any corner, any fight, stay in the fight. Whatever you're going through, if you're going through hell, you're not at the finish line. So keep going. So I ask you today, we've seen the great presidents, we've seen the powerful stories. What are you afraid of now? There is nothing I'm afraid of now. There's nothing I can't do. If I can go through a year and a half of hell, then everything else is easy. I took this job, never selling fine art before in my life. Dealing with Misty, dealing with the text messages, dealing with the time that I had no idea. I did it all afraid.
Yes.
I'm still here, and that is what Enchanted Fairies is doing for me and my family.
Yes.
And I'm still here today in the same house that I almost lost. Bills are caught up, and I'm still here. So you're still here.
Yes.
Thank you guys. So I'm gonna turn it over. I told you I wasn't gonna be here long, but if your back is against the wall, if you're ever feeling defeated, keep going. Keep going. Fear is not real. Fear is something that subconscious talk, right? That self-talk that we have is real, right? But it's here. We made it up. No one told us. No one told us that. We made it up. And so change this. Winston Churchill said, fear, there's nothing to fear except fear itself. So change that self-talk, change your mindset, change your attitude, and fight back and keep going. And if you're afraid, do it afraid. Thank you.
Yes.